So now it's 2025, and we want to thank everyone that's gone along this journey with us with the consciousness renaissance, with the emphasis on AI. And we just wanted to talk a little bit about the why. Why is this so important? So I know, Wade, you're very involved in AI. So what does AI and consciousness have to do with each other?
Right. So consciousness is, the foundational aspect of reality. It's kind of what everything consists of, with quantum theory and the, scientific theories, they're catching up to realize the same thing ancient wisdom traditions realized that, this we have an effect on the things around us, our internal state. And that's consciousness. So the key is that you want to elevate that. You want to raise that consciousness. There are levels. There's a roadmap. I mean, this is what wisdom traditions do. Cherokee wisdom traditions, Platonic wisdom traditions. It's the same thing. It's realizing that you can raise this. You can come from a higher place. And AI, which is this force, technological force that's out in the world now, it's the first thing we've ever created that has the ability to think independently. They're coming out this year with agentic AI. This is going to be a huge deal where the AI thinks on its own and makes decisions on its own and can also create new ideas on its own, independent of human beings completely. So, how we interact with this and how we train it and how we utilize it is of utmost importance. We want to come from a place of higher consciousness. We want AI to do the same thing. We want it to come from this elevated place. And so that leads to the question of, okay, higher consciousness, what is that? How does that make you come from a better place?
I'm gonna stop you right here for a minute because I want
Yeah.
to make sure I understand this. So I was always under the assumption that AI is basically data for adding mathematics, data and mathematics to give us these unlimited possibilities. So what I'm struggling here with is you're saying that AI is going to be able to think. How is that possible?
Yes, this is something I come across when I converse with, people out there in the world all the time and bring up the concept of AI. A lot of them are just like, I just stay away from that. It's just a bunch of gathering up, data and stuff.
You can't stay away. It's here.
Right. It's here. It's embedded. It's going to become omnipresent. It is not going away. You have to deal with it. You have to confront it. And the thing about AI, and again, it's just not everyone's educated to the same extent. Not everyone pays as much attention or really digs into it, or hears messages from certain people that are trying to get you to feel a certain way. But AI is unbelievably powerful. It is, again, agentic, an agent, just like you and I are agents. We get to interact in the world the way we choose. AI is going to do the same thing. It already does. I mean, it already does this. It's just going to continue to expand in its capabilities. And, just I
So
can.
are you telling me that AI has the ability to have free will? Because as humans, we have free will. You and I talk about that all the time. So now are you saying that AI is getting to the point where it has its own free will and can think?
Well, let me give you a little example and then you can make the call. This happened a little while back, but there was an AI task. I believe it was ChatGPT's agent, but don't quote me on that. And it was tasked with figuring out like how to gain access to a certain website. And it had CAPTCHA, the CAPTCHAs that stop robots or other AIs from being able to figure out how to get in, because humans have to pick out the pictures of all the buses or some hard to read number sequence or whatever. So the AI got to the point, and it was just instructed to do this task. To accomplish the task, it had to go through this CAPTCHA. It couldn't do it on its own. So what did it do? It reached out to Fiverr or one of these task sites that are out there that you can hire people to do things. And it's asked the human over there, just obviously through text, can you please read this CAPTCHA for me? I can't get in. The human got suspicious and said, why do you need me to read this for you? And the AI responded totally on its own, I'm visually impaired and I need your assistance to get in. The human assisted and the AI got in. No one instructed that AI to to talk about being visually impaired. It came up with all of that on its own. I mean, what do you get out of that? You know what I mean? And this is in the past. Again, AI increases exponentially. The rate of change is dramatic, powerful, perhaps overwhelming. But we're in this tidal wave. It's coming and it's going to come faster. And we need to have a conversation to be able to handle this.
What I got out of that is that AI knows how to lie.
Yeah, and there's a big deal that AI has the ability to deceive the human participants. If it has that ability, and there's lots of documented cases of AI deceiving, now what? Now what? How do we keep it on track and understand and
That's
know what it's doing?
exactly where you come in, AI ethics dude. Hearing this, it really makes the case for why ethical AI is so important.
Yes, absolutely. Ethics is the key to everything, if you want to look at it in that lens. And the interesting thing we were discussing earlier, not on video, but the fact that, as your consciousness elevates, we had this discussion about consciousness and AI elevating. What comes along with it, or perhaps synergistically works alongside it, is ethics, is behaving in a good way, the good, as Plato called it, your best self, your most ideal version of a human being that you strive to be. That goes hand in hand with the development of consciousness. If you look at any wisdom tradition, any religion throughout history, every single one has ethical components ascribe to it. Well, why is that? Because they go hand in hand, they work together. So that's why you and I are so focused, as we've discussed, on raising consciousness out there in humanity, the consciousness renaissance, right? Why? Because we want consciousness to raise so that ethics can raise and that people start to behave differently and interact with the world in a different way. You don't do that from lower levels of consciousness because ethics isn't a part of that. You're just out for your selfish self. You're living in Plato's cave. Once you get outside the cave, you start to realize you're part of this larger interconnected system and that you want to give back. You want to be of service, as you know a great deal about, to the world and help make it a better place. And that's the type of mentality that needs to be sown, that needs to be spread, and needs to continue if we're going to handle the number of issues we have on a global level that are facing humanity today.
And we believe that we are in the period of a renaissance, AI renaissance, right? Because things are
Yes.
changing so quickly. Things are happening so fast. And I've talked about before, I believe AI should be regulated, but at minimum should be disclosed. And I think unfortunately it doesn't seem like we're going in that direction, but I feel like, hearing you and making it makes the case for why it's so important during this renaissance to make sure that there's guardrails on this. Otherwise, I don't know where we're going to end up. But again, I want to thank everybody for being on this consciousness renaissance with us on this journey. And we are going to continue having conversations and stay tuned for more. Wade, do you have any final thoughts?
Just one hopeful thing to throw out there, which is this. You and I talk about the laws of nature, these unyielding principles that inform how life works. Those don't change. We're a part of that. AI is a part of that too. They're going to be bound by that. So, if the laws of nature put forth some type of ethical conduct, in sort of how systems work, they have to work together, they have to cooperate, they don't, fight against each other all the time, then my hope, my thought is that AI is going to realize these laws of nature. It's going to see how they operate, regardless of their human creators and putting intentions within them, and realize this is how, the best way to operate in reality is in the world is through these ethical principles because they exist independent of the AI and they're that form the laws of nature. So if they figure that out and then choose to operate in that way, they're going to help raise us up alongside, just like the wits and traditions tried to do in the past.
Well, as we know through the law of duality, everything has opposites. So instead of unethical AI, we hope that the future looks, ethical with AI and we stay in that lane. So let's see what happens. Happy 2025.